What's up, y'all? Welcome to Carolina Takedown Talk. My name is Rhett Hoy. I am normally joined by Ryan Mitchell, but today we have an incredibly special guest. Guys, we have got Jonathan Milner, the newest App State All-American. Man, what's up?
How you doing? It's good to be here.
Dude, we're thankful to have you on, man. Like I'm so excited. It's an honor to have you on. I've followed you since high school, then followed you going up to App, and of course followed you this weekend whenever you made your history. Dude, congrats, man. You're newest All-American. How's it feel?
Feels good. Looking back on it a little bit, but when I took my first loss, I was a little bit disappointed. I obviously wanted to win it, and then obviously wanted to get third. So came up a long way short. So, but it's always good to get that All-American status, get that monkey off my back, represent App State and North Carolina in a positive way. It's always good.
No doubt, man. So just touching on that really fast, you kind of brought it up. And so I kind of want to hit it is, dude, what's it mean to be a North Carolina All-American? Like, what's it mean to you to bring that All-American status back to North Carolina? We're a state that we're growing and we're finding more success, but we're not up there in the top tiers yet. What does it mean to you to bring that title back, man?
I mean, it means a lot, especially because I get to represent, my city and my state. Everybody knows the United States is a regional thing. That's just the history of our country. You represent your state first in your country.
Yep.
So it's always good. And I feel like we got such a good state with so many athletes. We're such a well-rounded state for sports in general. Like wrestling just doesn't, gets overlooked. Like we're good at baseball, basketball, football. You know what I mean?
No, definitely. Definitely, man.
Yeah, we got athletes everywhere. So it's always good to represent North Carolina in a positive way in any sport, really.
For sure, man. And so you're from Smith High School in Greensboro, two-time state qualifier and a state champ your senior year. Man, like what was your journey like at Smith?
Well, I had both my high school coaches at NCAA this past weekend, Dan Snell and Joey Gladson. I started wrestling my freshman year in high school. So I think I went like 3-20 my freshman year. And then my sophomore year, my brother was a football player. And that's all I did was play football. So I was like, man, I don't want to play football because that's my brother's thing. So I kind of went to wrestling just to be my own self. And then I really got into it my sophomore year. I started wrestling off season, School of Hard Knocks at first. And then, my coaches started going to team camps like Jeff Jordan and Virginia Tech camp. Ended up qualifying for states my junior year. And then I was like, man, you know what? I've always had a tremendous amount of belief in myself. So it's just one of my natural attributes, I guess. So I was like, man, I want to win states, So just work towards that goal, year round. Done it my senior year. And I was like, you know what, man? I was like, I want to go. I think my junior year, I said I wanted to wrestle at Virginia Tech, because I've always been a Hokie fan. And I actually verbal to Virginia Tech. Then at States, when I was at States my senior year, Dresser announced that he was leaving, going to Iowa State. So before the finals, people were asking, like, you still can go to Virginia Tech? Dresser left. And I was like, that's the plan. And then I talked to Roby. He said that he was still looking to recruit me. He'd like to have me on the team, prefer walk on. And I was like, yeah, it'd be nice. And then I was like, I'm gonna take another visit, go to App State, because Garrett Church, he went to School of Hard Knocks, a buddy of mine. He wrestled at App. So I went up there. I was like, I'll go see Garrett. He's a really nice guy, great buddy of mine. Ended up falling in love with the program here, just the team chemistry and the culture. And, Coach Bentley, I was like, man, this seems like a program that could help me grow in wrestling and grow as a person, Just the thought that the team was more disciplined. Coach Bentley was a Christian. So, I wouldn't go to college and get away from, my beliefs and everything that I stood for before I got to college. So I thought that was really important for me as well. And then end up choosing App, and the rest is history.
Rest is history, man. Went up there and turned it on. So
Yeah.
your senior year, you were what, 55-1?
Yeah. I think I lost to Cave Springs, Virginia kid. And
Okay.
I think he actually ended up going to Virginia Tech and ended up quitting like a year after that. But
There you go. So, it works out. But what
I
was the
wanted to
jump
go
like
on.
from state qualifier to state champ? Like what extra did you put in? Because we got a lot of high school kids that watch this, and everyone just kind of or a lot of people think that their senior year they're just entitled to be a state champ. That it didn't matter if they were qualifier the year before. Like what's the extra work you put in? What was the difference from junior year to senior year?
No, it was a lot. So I think the next day, as soon as I lost out of states, I was in the practice room, and then I started recommitting to my strength and conditioning. Started being in the weight room. Got up at like 6 a.m, lifted weights, went to high school practice, and after high school practice, went to club practice. And I just did that consistently. And then the biggest thing is just getting all season competition. So my junior year, I think I wrestled out of state for a majority of my all season competition. I wrestled in Virginia a lot, and Virginia Beach duels, those I-84 duels, and just traveling. I think Bristol, just not wrestling in state, just trying to get different competition, just get better competition. And that's the thing. Like if you want to get better, you got to beat the best to be the best. You got to wrestle the best. You got to know what it takes. You got to feel it. So
For sure. So you said Virginia Tech was one of the schools that was recruiting you. App State. Who else was recruiting you?
I think State was looking at me, but I never took a visit there. So I like NC State, but I'm a big Virginia Tech fan. So
right. No, I got you. You still got a little bit of Hokie in you.
Oh yeah, for sure.
I hear you. That's always good, man. I mean, I think I was kind of talking to somebody about that this weekend, about kind of like how I love the college aspect of, you can be fans of different programs. It's not like college football where like you have to be a Georgia fan or you have to be, an Alabama fan, and then you're obligated to hate Tennessee or whatever it is.
Well, I love to beat up on a Hokie, but
there you go. A little personal, a little bit of a throwback for you.
Sometimes I try to. I don't do it now while I'm in college actively right now, but I'm pretty sure once I get done, I'll probably support anything wrestling. Like Stanford. Everybody's supporting Stanford right now just because the wrestling community is so small right now, and it's shrinking too.
Yeah,
so unfortunately,
it is. Man, that's insane. That was one of my favorite storylines of the national tournament. And there's always those 2 or 3 storylines that pop up during the tournament, that just kind of really grow. But whenever they came out in the all black singlets, not even wearing the Stanford logo or anything like that, I was like, man, that's awesome. That, kind of stick it to the man a little bit there. But yeah. I just hate it for that program. Like, I hate it for those kids. Especially
I hate it because it's a program that they have money to give.
Yeah.
What I mean? It's not like, fortunately for us at App, we're a self-sufficient program. Our coaching staffs work really hard to raise a lot of money. So
right.
We're one of the few sports that actually charge admission and still sell out a lot of the gym most of the time. So
for sure,
I feel like it's hard to do that, on the West Coast because they got such a high budget cap. They got to fly everywhere. So, unfortunately, the logistics for them, it can be a nightmare, but it's not like they don't have the money to give. You know what I mean? You got to think what Stanford's tuition is compared to App State's. You know what I mean?
No, definitely. So, I mean, and there's that side. There's like what Stanford actually has. But then on the other hand, there is like what they raised. You're telling me you're going to say no to $12 million that was raised for themselves?
It's got to be a little bit more political than that. It can't just be about money.
Yeah. I mean, there's got to be something that's not coming out. But
exactly. So unfortunately, it's kind of the world that we live in. It's a lot of politics involved. It's not just, they got a great program. They got people supporting them. They're raising money. It should be that simple, but obviously it's not. So
it's not. Sadly, I mean, if it was that simple, it'd be all right. Got like 2 All-Americans and a national champ.
Exactly.
That's it.
I
Keep the
don't even
program.
know. The last thing the good came out of Stanford went to Carolina. So
True. So, it's just who knows. I really hope that Stanford makes the right decision and keeps that program, and if not, I say the
I
donors
hope
just
so too, just for the wrestling community, because you got to think, P5 school, they drop a program, you know, maybe another P5 school is like, hey, maybe we can drop this program and, give more money to like a basketball team,
right.
something like that. So the influence is definitely there for them to be a Power Five school and drop a program, that's doing things right and actually have a good team.
Yeah.
Not
And
like Old
finding
Dominion.
success.
Yeah,
So,
Old Dominion is unfortunate, but I think they did some things wrong, which brought some negative publicity to the school, which I don't think Stanford is doing. So
right. I gotcha. But so to kind of get back to you and your season, dude, we've got this crazy pandemic going on. We talked a little bit before we got on about all that. We won't get too far into it. I know that can always go sideways with different opinions and everything else, of all of our listeners and just anywhere right now. But
yeah,
what I wanted to ask you is how different was it this year, man? Like training through COVID and trying to get ready for a program. And on top of that, I guess I got two questions with that. What was it like last year qualifying and then finding out that you didn't get a chance to go wrestle at nationals?
yeah. Well, obviously that sucked. I think it sucked even worse for people that didn't get the opportunity you know, to get it back, like those
Yes.
seniors. I think that's the worst thing about it. And we had a program history last year, qualifiers. So I was really excited to go, my first NCAAs. And then it just get taken away. There you go, buddy.
Right.
But, training this summer, we were in Coach Bentley's garage all summer, training with him. 'Cause I stay in Boone, my apartment, my family, and I'm always up here. So I was just working and training, and my boss, Tommy Reese, he has a workout facility at the job. So I get to work, an hour early and then lift weights, go to work, after work, go wrestle with Coach Bentley in his garage. And
Right.
I had Cody Bond in the wrestling room 5:30 before work on those days that we wasn't lifting weights. So it was all over the place. The training schedule was.
Doing whatever you had to do, man.
Yeah, exactly. Got to improvise.
I hear you. I hear the little man in the background.
Oh yeah. He's trying to throw the ball at me.
Oh, I hear you. So I guess that was we did a little bit of a poll on our Instagram, kind of let a few of our listeners ask a few questions. It's a pretty good segue into that. But we had somebody ask, man, how do you balance being a husband, a father, and also a college wrestler? I mean, that's three, that's 7 full-time jobs right there. How
Yeah,
tough is that?
obviously,
How do you find that balance?
a lot of support, tremendous support from everybody on every end. Obviously my wife, coaching staffs, her parents, my coaches, my boss. I mean, I definitely wouldn't be able to do it if I didn't have tremendous amount of support.
Right.
But it is, it's hard, but everything in life's gonna be hard. So you just gotta be able to adjust and be the best that you could be, no matter what it is, 24/7. So
For sure, man. For sure. So you've mentioned Bentley a few times, Coach John Mark. What's he like in the room? What's it like wrestling for him?
he's old, but he's tough.
He's old, but he's tough. Okay, I think that
It's
might
just-
be
it
that might
is
be a quote. We might have to clip that for you and tag him in it.
old but tough. I think and this is pretty recent, but we did an individual and I had him in the morning and I like to talk junk, in the locker room and stuff. So I
Yep.
get down there, I'm getting ready for individual. He's already up there. He's just finishing up with like Cody and Caleb or whatever.
Yeah.
And it's like I'm about to put Coach Billy in a retirement home today.
Oh man.
And I was like, that's what I always say before I wrestle him. But I didn't know that he had got a cortisone shot in his elbow. His elbow's bothering him. he got a cortisone shot. And when he gets one of those, he's like 20.
He's ready to go, huh?
He feels like 20.
He's the national qualifier
I get
then.
up there, we're wrestling, and then we start wrestling live, and he's like, I thought he's putting it on me a little bit. I'm like, man, what the? I was like, this don't make no sense. I'm getting up, I'm pushing the pace, I'm trying to get him wore down, trying to get some points. And I mean, he's just going. And then he's like, all right, battle ropes. We get on the battle ropes, and we're doing it hard. He says time. Then he picks up the battle ropes. Then he's starting going. I'm like, man, it's like he's on one today. I was like, geez. And then we finish our workout. I go down there, and I think it was Cody Bond. He's like, how's the workout? I was like, man, Coach really, so he kind of messed me up today.
He put me in a retirement home.
Yeah, I was like, he must have got a cortisone shot or something. And I didn't, and this is prior to I knew. I think Heath was like, yeah, he said he got a cortisone shot yesterday. Dr. Bulls is up there. And I was like, that makes a lot of sense. I was like, thank you for telling me that, Heath. Thanks for the warning.
That.
Yeah.
I needed that.
I needed that an hour ago.
I needed that mentally before we started.
Yeah.
Before I actually went in there and scrapped with him when he was feeling like he was going for a national title.
Exactly. Yeah. He hasn't been wrestling as much as he has been, but my freshman year, I mean, we would go all the time. Like he would beat me up, and he's got this thing where he would take you down, and he always had finger tape. So put his forearm on the back of your head and then fix his finger tape while he's on top of you. And I would never let him do that. Because you're not gonna disrespect me like that. So every time he'd do it, he'd go to fix his finger tape. I'd grab his fingers and stand up. And he'll let me up.
You're not gonna do it to me, huh?
Yeah. I was like, you take me down 50 times, but I'm gonna get 25 points.
There you go. You're gonna get up every time. I hear you. I like that. Man, so my next question, man, is simply there's so many people in the world that wrestle, and so many high school wrestlers, and then even kids that go into college that they never get to go to NCAAs. They never make it to the big dance. What's it like?
Honestly, we didn't get a true feeling of it because there wasn't as many fans, but
right.
When I was there, I tried not to pay much attention to it at all. In the way-up lines, if they got a video playing on a big screen, I wouldn't look at it. I would tune it out. I just play solitaire on my phone or something like that. Other guys were wrestling. I was in the locker room, I wasn't watching it. Just making the atmosphere as small as possible.
Right.
And not getting too up for the moment and not getting too low. I try to just stay consistent in everything that I do. Just keeping it simple. It's a mat on the ground. You wrestle like you would at practice. And that's what you got to try to do. I know for me to wrestle my best, that's what I have to try to do.
Yeah, and that had to be tough to not pay attention because y'all sent a few. Y'all had a few, and y'all had a few big matches that y'all had a good little showing.
Yeah, I watched none of them.
Man,
unfortunately, I'll probably look back. I'll go back and watch some of them. But at the time, I had a job to do. I didn't even get my job done. So I mean, I was severely disappointed. But I still went out there to take care of business. It's what we get paid to do.
For sure. I mean, it's one of those things that, as much of a brotherhood as it is in a wrestling room, especially in that college wrestling room, you go through some of the toughest workouts that you ever will. And you build that bond. But once you get to the big dance, once you get to a tournament like that, I guess it kind of turns into hey, man, I trust that you're going to do your job and I'm going to go do mine. So if you watch me, you watch me. If you don't, you don't.
Yeah, I mean, the hardest part is, what I mean? Just, because the emotions are high, especially day two, those blood rounds, just getting ready for a match, you see people coming off, they're either crying or they're smiling, you know what I mean? And there's no in between either.
Man, the blood rounds are my favorite round of that whole tournament, really any tournament, just because it really is that final, do you have it or not? And that leads me to my next question. What did you do mentally? You said you were upset after that O'Connor match. Of course you go down, and I watched it. I watched all your matches this weekend. I thought you wrestled him great. He's tough to score on, man. He kind of slows down people.
Yeah. He's a solid wrestler. He stays in position.
Yeah, so, he stays in that front headlock position.
He just wanted to slow me down a little bit. It worked perfect for him. So
Right. No, I mean, and I think we run that back. We picked you again. I'll pick you again on that. But it's just, what did you do mentally after that to come back? I know I DM'd you that night and we kind of talked, and you had said like, look, expect like third is what I want. Third is where I'm going for. What did you do mentally coming off that mat to refocus to make that push again and to get back into the blood rounds, and then to push through and get that All-American status?
Yeah, I mean, for me, my biggest thing is honesty and transparency in everything that I do. I got to be honest with myself. You know, even after a tough loss, just try to recognize where I failed at, and just be open to constructive criticism from your coaching staff too. So I mean, if you're wrestling in a program and you got a coaching staff, like, you shouldn't be wrestling if you don't trust your coaching staff to to guide you in the right direction. So, I trust my coaching staff. They did a great job. And then when I got back to my hotel, I got some food, got some drinks, rehydrated, just recovered a little bit. And then I think what really helped me too is, Casey and Luke, and my wife and son, they had flew in, they had just got in. So, I got to spend like 3 hours with my son after not seeing him for like 6 days. So,
Right.
that was like, it's like a mental recharge too.
Oh, it is, man.
So, you
Definitely.
can't take that for granted too. Like, you gotta be ready mentally, 2 times as much as you are physically, because
Yeah.
that's the hardest part, to refocus. But like I said, just if you're honest with yourself, then you can accept it, then you can always bounce back. But if you try to hide from the facts, you can lie to yourself, but the same result might happen.
Right.
So if you don't want the same result, you gotta try to fix it.
For sure. So my next question is, what did it feel like when you won that blood round match?
Well, it felt good to get the monkey off the back, of course. Uh, Obviously, I don't think I wrestled my best towards the end of it. I kind of knew I had it locked up. I was like, I'm up by 8 points, with Rod and Tom. I was like, there's no way he's going to come back. And then he wrestles tough, though, that Duke kid. I don't think he's that good. I think he just wrestles really tough. He's
It
tough.
was Fine Silver, wasn't it? That was your
Yeah.
blood round. Yeah, he was
Yeah.
like the 27 seed, man. He came in and wrestled tough. He's awkward. Like, he's just
Yeah. Kind of like me. Yeah. And he just,
he's
well,
tough.
I jumped out in front of him, and then rode him hard for 240, and then I actually ended up turning him. And once you get a turn in tournaments like this, like, especially in college, like, you get so much room. So now that your opponent has to come, attack you and open up more.
Yeah.
It changes it up a little bit. And I think that's what, I mean, it would have been a lot tougher match if I wouldn't have got that turn, and I wouldn't have made him get out of his comfort zone. But, he's coming after. He's ready. He wanted to win. I wanted to win. And it was definitely a fun match. I was exhausted at the end, and that's
Right.
but that's what the fans want to see. That's what makes the sport exciting. So
That's what the blood rounds are, man. Is
exactly.
that's just, one of us is gonna go home. One of us gets to live our dream right here. And
I
get
hate to give you guys a
title
heart attack,
forever.
but I have fun at least.
Yeah, there you go, dude. What is your secret on top? Because you are so tough on top, man. Like, I feel like that is your secret weapon right there. It's just how tough you are on top, man. What's the secret?
It is. I'm long, so that helps out definitely. But my thing is you got to have a mentality about yourself if you're gonna be on top. It's like, no matter what you do, like, I'm gonna ride you like a dog. You stand up, I'm gonna return you. You stand up and you got one of my hands, I'm gonna pick you up with one arm. Or you stand up and I feel like you're gonna get away, I'm gonna grab your leg and I'm gonna push you out of bounds. Like, you're not gonna get away. And then, if they do get away, it's gonna be so much effort that you put in to get away that whenever I attack again, you're not gonna have enough in the tank to defend it. You know what I mean? And it's just the mentality about it, and you can take that mentality, anywhere in your wrestling, and that's kind of my mentality, like, on the mat. Like, if I'm on bottom, there's no way. I tell myself, no way you're gonna rob me.
Yep.
I'm gonna get out. I'm gonna stand up. I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna get to my moves, and I'm gonna get out. You got to be confident in everything that you do. But
For sure.
top is definitely my favorite position, my best position to be in.
Yeah.
So
I mean, I said it on our NCAA show that we did. And I had said, like, if I'm anyone in the country right now, I'm not choosing bottom. Like
yeah,
I'm going to go neutral against you. And the
I
thing that's
think that
tough about
happened in 3
that,
matches.
what was that?
In my last 3 matches that happened. So
Yeah. I mean, there's no one else in the country that I would be afraid of than you on top right now. Like you're a stud, dude. And I think it's that mentality. I think that like, I'm going to ride you and anything you do, you're going to have to earn it. And then if you do earn it, you're going to be gassed and I'm going to keep coming at you.
you know,
Who taught you that? Was that something you learned at App? Was that something you learned back at Smith? Where'd that come from?
well, I mean, back at Smith, kind of that was like the identity. You know, if you're gonna do something, you got to do it hard. And you know, I kind of got an itch for it because, you know, I wasn't really good on my feet. You know, especially when I got to college. I think that's when it kind of like dawned on me, like, man, I'm good on top. I need to stay on top. So when I first got to college, like, you know, most people struggle on the mat, and for me, it was kind of the opposite. Like I didn't have any really good attacks. Like I think I only had a slide by and. You know, I could roll around a little bit. I could sit the corner, but that was
Right.
it. You know, it's like, so I was like, man, if I get on top,
You saw that riding time point and said, all right, there we go. I
yeah,
got some offense.
you know, and it even better, you know, I discovered like if I ride somebody for 2 minutes, like they have nothing left, you know,
Yeah.
in the second or third period, you know, or whatever period it is. And then if I get one turn, that's 4 points. That's just as many as 2 takedowns. I was like, you know, they call it the advantage position for a reason. And, you know, I like to have an advantage. So
For sure. For sure,
but
man. So, we talked a little bit about Bentley, talked a little bit about App. I want to talk about like that room. What's like you guys are finding success. What's that atmosphere up there like right now with you and your teammates? Y'all are getting some big recruits in. Y'all are getting, a lot of good North Carolina kids. Gagne came up there this year. You guys
yeah.
have Norris right down the road from me that he's committed. What's the atmosphere like there right now?
Well, you know, obviously as a captain, like I try to keep the atmosphere competitive. And then, like I said, you know, things that I try to do in my mental aspect, you know, that honesty, that transparency, you know, trusting your coaching staff, you know, I try to practice that, you know, and encourage everybody to do that. So like, you know, one thing that I try to encourage everybody to do is like, if you take it to somebody in practice, you know, and you get down in the locker room, you know, let them have it. Tell them, you know, like, hey, I messed you up today. Like I did this to you today. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
You know, you wanna feed competitiveness. That's how you get a good room. You know, everybody's got to be competitive. You know, so like if I beat somebody up really bad the next day, I'm gonna let you hear it. That way you don't let it happen again tomorrow or the
yep.
day after that. You know what I mean?
Kind of
You gonna
accountability a
remember
little
it.
bit. Yeah,
Yeah. So it, you know, and it's funny too. You know, we like to joke around. So, but I think, you know, talking a little bit of crap helps out. You know, mental aspect, confidence wise, you know, and that's like biggest thing with some of our freshmen. That I try to teach them how to talk crap, talk junk a little bit.
yeah. Had to get that little bit of swagger to him.
Exactly, because I mean you gotta be confident, especially in this sport, you know. And that's honestly like the biggest thing that I seen at this tournament that I really noticed, like people that done really well, is they had that, you know, it's a fine line between cocky and confidence, but you know, you're gonna have to cross over every once in a while. And that's what
I'm pretty sure right
they did.
now college wrestling has probably the most confident guys we've ever had with old AJ Ferrari and Gable Stevenson out there cutting WWE promos, left and right. And then Spencer
Yeah,
Lee coming out and saying excuses are for wusses. I mean, some of the
exactly.
best sound bites we've ever had from this tournament came from the interviews. I think you're right that the confidence
You gotta
is
look at it
a
though.
big thing.
Exactly. It's so key in this sport, you know, because there are no secret moves in wrestling. You know, everybody knows single legs, everybody knows high crotches, you know,
Yep,
everybody knows how to ride, you know, but it's how you that self-belief, you know, how you feel out if you're gonna do it or not. So that I think is what separates high school and college.
for sure. For sure. I mean, I think this year, of course, the seeds were everywhere, because the shortened season, going back to COVID there. But, this year we really saw guys from every seed wrestle out of their mind, and I think it really was that, like, look, we didn't get to do this last year. We're gonna go for it this year. We're confident we're gonna swing for it.
Well, I mean, you got to think about it. It's just one tournament, so you just got to put together, and this is what I tell myself too. It's like you got to put together a couple good matches. String together. It takes 5 to be a national champ. Takes 3 to be an All-American. So find a way to win one match at a time. Put together a good match. And you're there for a reason. So can't be taken lightly if you're there. They gotta respect you.
Yeah, for sure.
If they show too much respect, then you can take advantage of it and you can win.
Yeah, for sure, man. So we had one other fan question, and they said that you would know what this meant. And it goes back to the App State room. So who do you father the most on the team? Who are you kind of in charge of most or father most on the team is how they asked it.
Oh my goodness. Will from Autos. He's my son now. I had to take him under my wing. I got to show him how to pack his bags. He still don't pack enough clothes. Had to give him an extra outfit.
Oh man.
Yeah. We was in St. Louis. Me, Will, Cody, and Brito. We went to go get a cup of coffee, and St. Louis, I guess this is the second dangerous city in the U.S. right now.
Oh wow, I didn't know that.
Yes, I was like, you know what? I'm gonna leave my wallet that way. If we get robbed, I'll just because I got all my cards on my phone, Apple Pay. I was like,
yeah,
get robbed, I'll just lose $40. I'll just lose my pre-dem money. So that's not a bad loss. I'll still be able to get on the airplane home. And then I told Will, and he was like, "That's a great idea. I'm gonna do the same."
It's like, I think I might listen to you on that one.
Yeah, I think actually, Mitch Moore, he ended up getting robbed at gunpoint. So,
no!
2 days later, yeah. So
in St. Louis.
Yeah, in St. Louis.
Holy cow!
I think it's either before or after the blood round he lost out, but
Jeez, add insult to injury there, huh?
Yeah, so he had a rough day.
Man, that's crazy. That's insane. That's an NCAA story he'll be able to tell for the rest of his life. I mean, if he wants to,
And then I will say, my other son that I father the most is Tommy Askey. He's a freshman. Yeah.
Okay.
And he got hurt when I needed him the most. He got hurt before SoCons. I spent 3 months teaching him how to drill, give me the right feel, and then he gets hurt.
Oh, then he gets hurt and abandons you, huh? Right when you needed him.
I don't blame him. Ian hurt him. Ian put a beating on him.
Ian did it. Okay. I gotcha.
Tommy's my other one.
Yeah, I hear you, man. So I think I heard you say it in an interview after nationals, and I kind of just want to get a little bit of another, I guess, take on it. Is right now North Carolina schools are succeeding. I mean, I know you're going to hate that I even bring this team up, the orange team. Campbell's doing well. NC State's doing well. Chapel Hill, of course, they had a national champion this year. They're on the up and up. Duke's trying to find success with bringing in Tomasello and bringing in coaches. We're finding success. So why should North Carolina kids come to App? I get is my question. Why App?
Because those other schools, and even Campbell, they do a lot of recruiting outside of North Carolina, and that's part of the reason I didn't even give NC State time of day, is because they don't really look into North Carolina kids. And then once they get there, if you look at the track record, how many of those North Carolina kids perform well or succeed. So, getting in the door, it depends on what your goals are. If you want to be on a good team, collect a T-shirt, then you can go there. But if you want to get better and try to maximize your potential, then I think App State is the best developmental program, in the country right now.
Right.
So
for sure.
But if you're good enough, you can go anywhere you want to. But I just think though, funds, you gotta be realistic with what schools you're going to. Like, Papaluzio, he's a recruit maniac. So he's always gonna get talent in his room, no matter where they're from.
Right.
Same thing with Carolina. It's a big school, and they just got their first national champ in a while, so they're probably gonna get better recruits. You just gotta be realistic with what your goals are. So,
Yeah.
but I love competition. I love North Carolina schools being good because I can get home quicker whenever we travel and go try to beat up on them. You know what I mean? So I love it though.
That's one thing I love about App is that, we got a North Carolina, not just former wrestler, but legend in John Mark Bentley. Anytime you ever talk about the best wrestlers from North Carolina, I think Chris Bullins gets thrown in there pretty fast, but probably the fastest one to get thrown in there is John Mark Bentley.
Yeah. But I mean, I think he's a way better coach than he is a wrestler, and in my opinion,
that's saying a lot.
If you look at any other sport, traditionally to be a good coach, you don't have to be a good athlete at that sport, like football or basketball, for example. Him being a great wrestler adds on to it, but I think he's a good coach just because, he works really hard. He studies the sport and he's always growing. It's not like he doesn't just settle for like what he knows. He's always learning, he's always studying. And if you pay attention to it, like he can even switch his style of wrestling. Like it's just insane. And same thing in Papaluzio. Like I don't think he was a phenomenal wrestler in college either, but he's a good coach. So you gotta look at that aspect of it too.
Right.
Like he's a good recruiter. He gets, he knows how to hustle. He knows how to find money. And, just like Stanford's problem, finances are really important, especially for our sport, because we're not a sport that's, known to be in the black all the time. So if you can find money, find donors, be a good coach, talk to athletes, coach athletes, motivate them. I think that's more important than, a name and what you did in the past for me.
Right. And that's one thing that I love about Bentley is that, of course we know him here in North Carolina. If you wrestled in high school in North Carolina, you know who John Mark Bentley is, not only because he's the App State coach, but, because of his record at Avery and what he did, and to me, I saw a tweet and I kind of jumped on it. I want to say it was, I think it was LaRussa, was it, that he kind of threw out a tweet that said that John Mark Bentley is the best developmental coach in the country. And I read that and I jumped on it instantly. It was like, dude, like to me, you can't argue it. He brings kids in that, they didn't win state titles.
Yeah.
Like they didn't do these crazy and insane things. They're not from Pennsylvania. They're not from Ohio, Iowa.
Yeah.
Yeah. And he's bringing them in and he's bringing North Carolina kids in with you. With you, we got a North Carolina kid here that won state title that is now an All-American, a two-time SoCon champ, two-time national qualifier, and is now an All-American. And from the App State program, homegrown, homebred, like brought you in and found success.
Yeah. If you're willing to work hard, and this is my whole take on college wrestling, at some point in your college career, you're going to have to recommit your whole wrestling style, and you're going to have to start from the bottom up. The quicker you realize that and you're willing to just put in the amount of work it takes, it costs what it costs, and that's one thing that we don't do it in our program is we don't cut corners, but it may take longer to get to where you want to be, but if you stay consistent and committed to your goals, then you'll get there. So, my goal is to be a national champ, first one for App State, if I can stay committed to my goals for, a long period of time, like I think I can do it. So
there you go. Well, that was my next question, man. What's next? I know this year the NCAA is kind of giving everybody a free year, so that leaves you with 2 more years of eligibility, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, you're correct.
So are we looking at seeing John Milner here for 2 more years in the App State Black and Gold and going for 2 national titles, or what's next for you, man?
Well, we're gonna try to get to this next national title. nothing's promised. So you just take it 1 year at a time. That's what I
sure.
try to do. One day at a time, get better a little bit, you know, little by little, brick by
Yep.
brick, just, not looking too far down the road, and that's one thing that Coach Bentley told me, that I took his advice on about this tournament that I think anybody you can translate to like anything in your life
Right.
is, just don't look ahead because you might not make it there or somebody else might not make it there. Whether that's the next part, like a job, where you land at in the bracket or
Mhm.
what you do in life, just do what you gotta do right now and do it to the best of your ability. And that'll get you where you need to go. If you just
For
do it
sure.
inch by inch. So
For sure. Are you plan on wrestling any freestyle or anything like that this off season, or just kind of?
I plan on wrestling as much freestyle as I possibly can.
There we go.
Because I think that's what hurt me the most, is obviously, neutral. If I get better on my feet, I can take people down, force them to get underneath them and get on top of them. Then I think I can definitely be a national champ.
Oh,
So,
no doubt. I mean,
that's my goal is to, work on freestyle, definitely work on hands and heads defense, protecting my legs, getting to my offense no matter what, different ways. So that's kind of my next focus. That's what I'm recommitting myself to this whole off season, and still getting better on top, still finding ways to get better on top and bottom. But I think freestyle will be a big focus for me this next coming off season.
right. Well, awesome, man. Like I said, dude, thanks for coming on. Congrats, dude. We're so proud of you. And I know all of North Carolina was behind you and supporting you. Dude, I can't wait to see what you do in the rest of your career, and know that you always got fans here at Carolina Takedown Talk.
I appreciate it. I appreciate it. Yeah,
So,
North Carolina, we got to stick together, baby.
oh, for sure, man. And I think we're on the come up. I think we're on the rise.
I do
Um,
too. I
you know, we
think
keep
we got a
on
lot
putting down
more. Got a
studs.
lot more North Carolina kids that's gonna be on the rise too. Not just at that, but at other programs too. Hopefully, I wish them the best. And I don't want to see anybody not do the best. You know what I mean?
Right.
Competition's a good thing, sink or swim.
For
So
sure. For sure. You just want App to do a little bit better, huh?
yeah,
You don't
do
want
that.
somebody to do their worst. You just want App to do a
Yeah,
little bit better, huh?
exactly.
Well,
Push
there
us
you
to that
go.
extra mile.
There you go. Well, everybody, that's it for this week. Join us next week again on Carolina Takedown Talk. John, thanks for coming on, man.
Appreciate it. You have a good one.
Thank you for listening to another episode of Carolina Takedown Talk. This episode was brought to you by Carolina's Matt News and Frank Smithwick. Also brought to you by Village Recruiting Coaching. If you're a high school athlete that would like to wrestle in college, visit villagecoaching.com. Schedule your free call with Coach Tanner Sewell. Coach Sewell is going to do everything he can to find you the perfect program where you can fight for the culture. Thanks for listening, everybody.